The Future of Humanity Institute is a unique attempt to try to apply the same rigorous analytic standards that you would expect elsewhere in the university to the really big picture questions for humanity. Right now we are pursuing 3 streams of research. One of them is the ethical and practical implications of using technology to transform human nature, so human enhancement technologies. This poses a number of challenges and questions about whether, how, and in what context such technologies should be used. And this is interesting because most other things affect us only indirectly by first changing the external world, and then we interact with it and that changes us. But if you have something that can affect human biology directly, that's potentially very powerful and it's worth thinking about carefully. The second stream of research that we are pursuing is global catastrophic risks. So this is looking at the really big threats to humanity, maybe low probability but high consequence hazards, including at the extreme end threats to human survival and then threats to global civilization. And the third stream of research is methodology and rationality. So that third stream of research studies the problems of dealing with uncertainty in relation to these big picture issues for humanity. It sounds boring with methodology, but it's really about trying to develop a set of methodological tools and thinking techniques so that you can begin to address these big questions in a rigorous way. For an institute with our focus being situated within the James Martin 21st Century School is really perfect because we are surrounded by a number of other groups and scholars who are addressing various aspects and facets of big challenges for humanity in the 21st century. And that greatly amplifies our ability to sort of see around the problems that exist. And the school is a unique opportunity for scholars who would otherwise be locked into the strictures of their disciplinary home to sort of lift their heads up and begin to think about the things that might really interest them, or that are really important and that have practical significance in an interdisciplinary way. What's also really exciting is to see how around this core there is beginning to emerge a wider set of people who are very interested in what the school is doing, both here at Oxford and at other universities and outside the world of academia. And I think if the school can serve as sort of the catalyst or the grain around which something larger can crystallize, that could really make a valuable difference in terms of humanity's ability to reflect about where it is going and tackle these big challenges heads on. There are a number of high leverage points where a huge amount is at stake, but very small amounts of resources are devoted to trying to figure out what we need to do. One of those points is existential risks. The consequences of an existential risk are as big as the consequences can be, and yet there is pretty much nobody in the world who is working full-time on understanding existential risks. Whether there are any, how big they are, and if so, what we can do about them. Another of these high leverage points is thinking about prioritization. So there are thousands or tens of thousands of really interesting topics that an academic could study, and there are tens of thousands of good causes that a philanthropist could fund. But out of these tens of thousands of possible choices, how do you pick one? Do you just go with your gut, or do you pick whatever happens to come in front of you? Or is there a better way? Is there some way that you could approach this rationally? Now, if there is such a way, we could discover some insight into this better way of prioritizing and realizing what's really important, then that discovery itself would be tremendously valuable contribution, because it could help direct resources and attention to the places where it can really make a difference.